back to Hot Flashes and Cool Topics. It's a new year and it's time for us to get moving. We are excited to have Kaisa Keranen on the show. She is a fitness instructor, personal trainer. She actually was a go-to trainer for Michelle Obama's Let's Move digital campaign and a whole host of things that we talked about beforehand. But we are excited for this conversation. Welcome to the show, Kaisa.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, one of the things that was so interesting when I was reading your bio is that you believe in movement. You're not focused on how many pounds can you lose, how much weight loss is going to happen. You just want women, for our demographic, to get moving. And that's so important. What made you kind of direct your practice towards just the movement in general and getting people to start at the beginning?
Yeah. Well, I think really simply put, bodies are meant to move. And so we feel our best when we're in a movement routine, not necessarily working out. Like it doesn't mean that you have to go to the gym and lift weights and work out that way. But just like when you are incorporating movement into your life, you feel your best. And so for me, being in the fitness industry, I really saw that we used movement in this negative way. We really focused on using movement to change the way that people looked. And for me, that was a message that I not only didn't want to co-sign, I actually wanted to completely change. So my message is you have a body, you're meant to move. Let's find the way that you enjoy moving the most.
Absolutely. I agree. Colleen and I have talked, but when we were younger, that our whole deal with exercise was just I want to fit into this, I want to fit into that. And now it really is, I just feel better. When I do something, I just feel better. And that's really all I care about is feeling better and just feeling good.
Yeah.
So, and just mentally, it's so helpful when you move and do something, you just feel better mentally.
And when you can the thing is when you can hone in on how you feel after you move or while you're moving, that becomes a sustainable practice. That is a positive reinforcement that your body and your mind will crave to go back to. And so I think that's a really important message. The other thing is most of the time you are working out to change the way that you look because ultimately you think that if you look different, that'll make you happier. And so I think for me at the end of the day, also being connected to your body and being grateful and appreciative for what your body does for you, you'll help kind of flip that message and realize that you are far more than what your body looks like. You can appreciate it, you can value it, and you can take care of it because it's the one body you have, but you're not defined by what your body looks like.
And we love that belief system because it is body positivity, and feeling good in your body, especially for midlife women, is so much more important. What we get from the exercise is very different now. And like you said, we're just grateful that our bodies can still move the way they're moving, that we don't have pre-existing conditions which limit body movement. But a lot of women do have those pre-existing conditions. And let's say, we ate a little too much during the holidays. We're feeling kind of that couch potato and we want to start moving, but we don't want to join a gym, which so many people do this time of year. And that's why gyms make so much money in January and February, but it peters out. What are some simple things that women can do at home to get moving?
So yeah. And first and foremost, I want to say you don't ever have to step foot inside of a gym. Like I am not a believer that you have to go to the gym. That's why most of my programs are actually at home workout programs. First and foremost, I would say create a routine and a habit that you can stick with. So dedicate some time. If you're someone who is not moving at all, then let's be really realistic about what it means to start incorporating movement into your life. So you set a habit, maybe it's 5 minutes a day at a specific time throughout the day, and you can get up and stretch. You could go for a walk, but you do something that feels really doable to you. So you feel like you're actually achieving that thing. So for me also, what I really try to encourage people to do is stick with that habit. If something came up throughout the day and it was just crazy and you couldn't go out for a walk, take those 5 minutes to just even sit at your desk and practice breath work. Like still stay dedicated to practicing that habit and sticking with that. But I personally believe it starts with very small steps that you can continue doing. And like I said, the body is meant to move. So the more you move, the more it will crave to add movement into your life and the more you'll be able to stick with that.
What are some of the areas of your house that you could use to work out? I know chairs, obviously you can do, but are there certain things around the house you can use in your workout routine?
I use everything. I use toilet paper. I use pots. I use silverware. Like I've used everything to move and to work out because I think there's so many things around your house. If you are allowing your mind to get creative, that can be turned into workout equipment. And so, yes, there's the obvious chair, but also there's a lot of fun things around your house that you can use and incorporate into your workouts: towels, paper plates. Like I'm known to use anything and everything. But I also think you don't need anything at all. Like your body is a miracle enough tool that you don't need anything else. You don't need to add to it if you don't have things around the house.
Yeah, like for example, like would just be resistance, like trying to build up some resistance or just using your body. I know just up against the wall, even wall push-ups or anything like that. Those are
Yeah.
some great. Is there anything else that you want to add that is real simple?
Soup cans, like when we do use, if we do want to add a little bit of weight and make things fun, I've done a lot of workouts with soup cans, but generally speaking, I use body weight. I don't use anything other than a chair to help support you, especially when you're just getting started on your movement journey. And then just your body enough. There's plenty of things that you can do that just pushing and pulling and moving your body weight around is plenty enough of a workout.
And I know you have a program called Start Moving, which
Yes.
is great. And when I spoke with you before, it was you. I liked when you said it's not starting at the beginning, the start line. It's starting behind the start line. It's for those people who don't feel like they're even ready to get into a 30-minute workout class.
Yeah.
And I watched one of the videos, and again, it was about 7 or 8 minutes long, and it was literally engaging breath work. It was stretching. And why are those so important to start with?
Well, first and foremost, I think that as an industry, the fitness world, we don't actually, when we say beginner, we don't actually meet a lot of people where they're at. So if you're not moving right now, chances are a big piece of that is because you're in pain and or you just have no idea where to begin. And so I wanted to create something that met people where they're at. So in the beginning, our movements are very short. We actually even start our first workout in a chair. We don't even stand up. We don't leave the chair. And what I wanted to do was make it not overwhelming. So you had an opportunity to connect with your body and really just pay attention to how things felt. I didn't want a lot of other things going on. I didn't want you to experience pain. I wanted it to be really gentle and restorative movement. So you just had the opportunity to start moving in your body and start from a place that felt very safe for you.
And I think that's so important because so many people, that's why they don't even start.
Yeah.
They think this is going to be overwhelming. This is going to be too hard. I'm not even going to start. And they just sit and don't even start. So that is so encouraging that it starts at that point.
Yeah. And I think one of the things, it's so to me, a lot of people, I like to break down the barrier because a lot of people say, I'm just not into working out. Like, I'm just not a workout person. I'm just not, that's not for me. And I like to kind of push up against that because you are technically moving throughout your day and throughout your life. And so, wouldn't things be a little bit more beneficial if you learned how to move properly within your body? If you learned how, I mean, we all squat down to the toilet. So, wouldn't it be more beneficial if you learned how to squat properly so it didn't bother your knees each time? And the thing also is that people that are in pain think that movement is going to lead them to more pain. And the reality is movement will help you get out of pain. Most of the time you're in pain because joints are stiff and tight and they need movement to help alleviate that stiffness and that tightness. So that's something I really try to encourage as well.
Right. And the proper way to move, then you're not going to compensate and hurt another part of your body if you're not moving properly. So
Absolutely.
that is great.
Absolutely.
So in your videos for the Start Moving, which have Start Moving, Start Dancing, Start Yoga, a lot of it is form based in the beginning.
Yeah, it's really teaching people proper form in a very doable way. I'm not a very clinical person. I mean, I have my master's in sports performance. Like I know all of it, but it doesn't translate. You don't need to know all of those things. And so for me, it's in a very bite-sized way. Like let's just talk about movement in a way that makes sense to you and that we can all understand. It doesn't need to be clinical. You don't need to know what muscle is firing and doing what when you're going through these exercises. It doesn't matter. So for me, it was how do we take basic human movements and make them really understandable so that when you go through life without me there coaching you, you remember how things should feel within your body. And then you can take you. Movement is really a handful of exercises. And like Colleen, you know that it's a handful of exercise that we make more complicated and more complicated and more complicated. But it's really pretty simple if we learn the basics.
Yes. And another way to be less intimidating for people
A-
wanting to get started.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When people start your program and they are at the very beginning of it, what kind of transition do you see, and how mentally and physically, what kind of transitions do you see?
I always get emotional. I don't even see, but I hear. So we get so many positive reviews from people that have done the Start Moving program, moved into Start Dancing and Start Yoga, and have found so much freedom in their body. So not only are they feeling better and are they out of pain, but they're feeling more empowered and confident by what their body can do. And that translates into so many things in life. When you feel empowered and confident in your body and in who you are, that translates to what's happening outside of your gym or your home. Like that's in work, that's in relationships. Because I always say movement is one of the most important things because it helps you develop the relationship with yourself and with your body. You start to know yourself a little better. You can listen to yourself. You have all those tools. So when we get reviews back, it's not just like, thanks for helping me move again, but it's like, really, honestly, thanks for changing my life. And those are some of the most incredible stories that I get to hear day in and day out.
Yeah.
So where can people find the Start Moving program?
Justmove.com.
So that's easy. That's easy to remember, guys. Justmove.com. And I
Tried
know
to keep it easy.
with Bridge and I have both said that when you start moving, it just changes the whole way you look at life. Because for someone in our demographic over 50, we are not doing those squats so that our butt fits in, leather shorts. Okay. That's not what we're doing it for. It's so the butt doesn't fall any further south than it's already going to go. But do you find I guess my question to you is, so many people just don't know where to start. Do I do yoga? Do I do dancing? And to say them, no, just sit down and do 5 minutes. It's hard for them to wrap their brain around that.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, the Start Moving program is because I have so many family members that don't know where to start and they have me in their back pocket. So
Okay.
the Start Moving program was really dedicated to those family members at first, and then recognizing that there was such a gap of people who were ready to get into their movement journey, but were either in pain, had never moved before, or just didn't know where to begin. And when they looked at beginner workouts online or in the gym, wherever they were going, they weren't actually meeting them where they were at. They weren't actually beginner enough, for lack of a better word. So I created Start Moving because I basically said, if you have no idea what I'm talking about and you have never, ever taken a class before, I want you to be able to take these classes with me and feel like every step of the way, I'm with you. I understand where you're at and you're getting more and more confident in the movement. So we move at a very slow, doable pace. The other thing that really bothered me when I started looking at beginner workouts and this gap here was the fitness industry tends to talk down to people that don't understand what to do yet. And that was for me, that was a really negative thing that I wanted to change. If you're ready to start your movement journey, that is a very positive and exciting thing. I am there to be your coach and your cheerleader every step of the way. And so for me, that was I want people to feel empowered and confident in their body. And that means that I got to take you slowly through this process so that you actually learn what's happening and how things should feel. And that was really my motivation behind this entire program.
And how long is the program?
So the program first starts with a 7-day, and then we moved because so many people after the 7 days of moving through it were like, I'm ready to do more of this. It is a 30-day program. And then after that, people were so excited from there that they wanted to do more. And that's how we started Start Dancing and Start Yoga. So we have a handful of programs depending on what you are ready to do, or just depending on what resonates most with you, what gets you most excited. If it's Start Yoga, start there. There's really no proper way to begin your movement journey, but I've created the Start courses just so that you had some options.
Right. And I love the website because you just have not only the beginning, but if you have other programs there for people who are ready to start at a higher level. And so or move on. So
yes.
I really love that. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we really, with Just Move, the whole premise with Just Move was there's not one way to move. You definitely don't have to just go into a gym. I wanted to create a platform that had many different coaches and many different ways to move, but I also want it to be very accessible for everybody and every body, no matter where you're at. So we have the whole start level. Even in some of the start programs, we start adding weights because a lot of people graduate into wanting to learn how to weight lift. And then we go into beginner workouts and intermediate and advanced. So whatever your needs are and wherever you're at on your journey, we definitely have something for you.
And do you talk about nutrition at all with that?
We do have nutrition programs. I am not a dietitian. And so I'm very strict about I speak what my expertise is in. We work with a dietitian, Liz, who is absolutely incredible. So we do have nutrition programs. And they are on the KaisaFit, like they're within that platform.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so people can go on the website and they can find the Get Moving program and sign up for one. Can you sign up for all three, or do you have to sign up for one for each? How does that work?
Yeah. So it's Start Moving, and our platform is subscription based. So you can start for a monthly, it's $20 a month, or you can buy a year subscription, whatever feels best for you. We also, and I don't say this all the time, but we also are very happy to refund you. If it is not the right thing for you, I am not trying to keep you there or take your money. We are very, very much about making sure that we are servicing people with what they need. We also listen to our customers. I call them the team. I don't even call them customers. I listen to them every single day based on feedback and what they're looking for and what they want more of or less of or changed. And so we're really focused on giving the community what they need.
And I also noticed you had bundles on there. Can you talk a
Yeah.
little bit about the bundles?
Yeah. So it's technically two separate things. So the bundles are products because there are some people that are adverse to buying a subscription. And so we do have some of our products, like Start Moving can be bought as a singular product. And then we've bundled some of the programs together because obviously if you're going to buy a lot of them, you deserve to have a discount and have things at a cheaper rate. So if you are somebody that is not interested in buying a subscription, we do have the opportunity to buy a single product. It's just a little bit more expensive. It's cheaper to go the subscription route.
And you were saying that you call them the team. Is there a place where they can kind of connect as a community or ask questions?
Yes. Thank you, Colleen. So I have a Facebook group because for me, it was really important on social media. I try to listen and respond to people all the time, but honestly, just things get lost in the mix. And so we have a Facebook group that's dedicated to the Just Move community. It is an absolutely incredible community because they are so supportive of each other, no matter where everybody's at on the journey. They've all experienced what each other have experienced. And so they're really supportive crew. They'll also answer questions before I can even answer them. So they're in there all the time and just being really supportive. We all are on our own journey, but having people there to support you along the way makes it a million times easier.
What seems to be the most motivational things that get people moving to say to them? Like if you have family that you would love to give this program to them and say, let's start something. What seems to work as far as motivation?
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing is, I always try to encourage people to start with a very 5 minutes of movement and then pay attention to how you feel, pay attention to what your mood is while you're doing it, after you're doing it, what your energy level is, how much better you slept, just how much better you feel. To me, that's the most motivating thing. I also try to make it very doable. 5 minutes of movement will make a very big difference in your day. Even 1 minute of movement, 1 minute of breath work makes a huge difference in your day. So I really try to use that feeling that you get as positive reinforcement to keep you going and motivated on your movement journey.
And that's it's such an important thing to say because most people believe if you're not doing, it's never good enough. If you go to the doctor and you say, okay, I do 30 minutes 4 times a week. Well, you really should do 45 minutes,
Yeah.
5 times. It's never enough. So for those people who are just like, how can 5 minutes really do anything for me? What would you say to them?
Well, it really can. One, we're all stressed out. We live in a very stressful world, especially given obviously the pandemic and everything going on now. For you, clinically, and we don't have to go into this, stress does a lot on your body. It's very hard on your body. And so for you to take even 1 minute, 5 minutes out of your day and try to relieve some of that stress has a huge impact on your life and on your body and on your health. So factually, it does. I also say anything is better than nothing at all. And so it all adds up. It's like the compound effect. If you do a minute a day for 365 days, that is a lot of movement. That is a lot of taking care of your body. And the more you do it, the more your body will crave it and the more you'll be drawn to like continue adding movement into your daily routine. It's facts. I've seen it with all of my clients. And it happens.
Oh, I was going to say, it's just kind of like what's released in your body when you do that. Like these people that do horrible drugs, they do it to go back to that feeling, but the little bit of exercise can bring that feeling to you so that you don't need those other things in your
Absolutely.
life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Endorphins are being released. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And I think one of the other things is I think as a fitness industry and as a whole, we don't reinforce that positive feeling. Instead, again, we say, a huge reason why it's not sustainable for people is because they go into their movement journey looking to lose 5 pounds in like a day. You know what I mean? And that's what's reinforced. But the reality is, if you take that out of the way and you just focus on how you feel throughout your day, you will notice a huge difference in your life, in your energy levels, which translates into work and relationships when you incorporate movement.
And when you speak about movement, do you refer to the fact that maybe some cardio should be one day, some yoga should be like what do you consider to be a good routine for people?
Yeah, and that is a great question. I don't like it to be very overwhelming in the beginning. So I actually don't think that you need to do anything specific. I would encourage you to move in whatever way feels best. Cardio is simply put, getting your heart rate up. So if going for a walk gets your heart rate up and that feels good, incorporate that. Once you start feeling like you are moving, regularly 2 or 3 times throughout the week, we would start incorporating some more strength work because I think that's really important. The older we get, the more we want to take care of our bones and just be strong within our body. So yeah, there are definitely different things. I love mobility because I think it's really important to take care of your joints. Mobility, simply put, is just basically a joint workout. It's taking your joints through full ranges of motion, helps to relieve any pains, and that stiffness that you feel. So we can start getting a little bit more technical the more you incorporate movement. But in the beginning, I just strongly encourage people not to think about it too much and just to figure out a way to move. That's why I like to say movement and not working out. I think working out can be you can kind of think that needs to fit a specific box. Moving is also, and you can get a workout by cleaning your house rigorously. You can get your sweat on, your heart rate up. So there's plenty of ways. And I like to use movement so people start thinking outside the box.
Well, we want to make sure that everybody checks this out because it's a new year and we need to all start moving. Even if it's winter, no excuses. Can you let the listeners know where KaisaFit Start Moving program can be found?
Yes, everything can be found on justmove.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kaisa, for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
You for
you.
having me. And I'm so grateful that you guys are also spreading the message of women taking care of themselves along
Mhm.
this journey. So thank you.
Oh,
Thank
thank you.
you.